What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Shaggy3K back on the mic, coming at y'all with a new video, a new style video, a little bit of a commentary video rather than a gameplay or reaction video. Today we're going to be talking about my favorite franchise and my favorite team, the Chicago Bulls. Talking about the state that they're in, what's going on with the franchise, and all that, good stuff. Well, I'm going to have some, some of my league stuff playing in the background. Y'all can enjoy that as well. I'm just going to be hollering at y'all about, the facts of everything that's going on. So, y'all know what, how crazy everything is nowadays and stuff like that. We're going to be going through news, headliners, and I'm going to try and, do one for a couple other teams that are very interested, like the Houston Rockets, Denver Nuggets, which is a team a lot of people sleep on. And, of course, the Clippers, Lakers, title contenders, Raptors, another team that a lot of people sleep on and stuff like that. So we're just going to be talking about a whole bunch of teams and doing a bunch of commentaries and also individual players as well. So to start things off, we're going to be talking about Chicago Bulls and some of the news that's going into what is this bubble for the other 8 teams that are not within playoff range. That are not going to Orlando. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the Chicago Bulls and why they're in this position where they can't go to Orlando, the state of the team and everything, as we get an outlet pass to Kobe White. Just how we got to this point. So y'all know that the front office was pretty much a mess for years upon years. Mainly after the Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose era. That's when things started to fall apart. We went into a full rebuild mode and stuff like that. And even though we tried our best to surround Jimmy Butler with, talent or at least assets to help him get past that second round exit or first round exit that we will always come to post Derrick Rose, we couldn't do it. We just couldn't do it. So we tried to surround him with Rondo and Dwayne Wade, but unfortunately, with Rondo getting injured and stuff like that, we lost to the Celtics. That's summer of 2017. We blew the team up. It was best, because we didn't want to waste one of our players' primes. Jimmy Butler means a lot to people. It was a good move, to be honest. Now looking back on it, from 3 years, looking back on it in 3 years in the future, it was actually a pretty good move. It's not something amazing like getting Jason Tatum or something like that. It's not like Brooklyn Nets or Danny Ainge level type of move, but it's pretty good for the franchise. We got Zach LaVine and Lauri Markkanen out of it. We got Chris Dunn out of it as well, even though a lot of people don't appreciate him for the player that he is. He's a great defender. He could bring that ferocity on defense, even though he doesn't make the best decisions on offense and stuff like that. And he has definitely a long way to go with his offensive game and everything. He's still a great addition, because we like to have that defensive culture. We're one of the best defensive teams in the East, which a lot of people, didn't notice that and didn't know that. So we got really good things out of it. That's pretty much 3 out of 5 parts of our young core right there for one trade. And if we would have kept Jimmy Butler, to be honest, in the long run, we probably wouldn't have got that far. It was the right road to take. We didn't want to waste another player's prime. We didn't want to have a Kevin Garnett type of situation. Unfortunately, Jimmy Butler didn't work out in Minnesota, but, hey, that's on Minnesota personally. The culture and environment that they had at the time that Jimmy Butler was there was not the best. It wasn't no hard working and winning culture that he was used to. So he got out that jam. He went to Philly, didn't work in Philly. He wanted out, and now he got his own team in Miami, which I think is a great. The team overall is great. Pat Riley obviously always wants to establish a winning culture no matter what. He wants to be a winner. He has that experience and stuff like that, and that's good for him. But off of Jimmy Butler and his whole thing, I have a lot of respect. I love the way he plays. But off of that, back to the root of the Chicago Bulls. We trade him away. We get Zach LaVine coming off injury. A lot of people were skeptical about Zach LaVine, with his ACL tear. That's something that we've seen before. A young, very uber athletic guard getting injured and stuff like that, and how that impacts their career. It's devastating to a lot of people that utilize athleticism a lot in their game. And we was just very skeptical about whether he could recover overnight and get back to normal, get back to how he was and fulfill his potential. Thank thank the heavens that he did, and in my opinion, he should have been an all-star this year. He's fulfilled his offensive potential, and he still has room to grow. But defensively, that's another story. So we won that Zach Levine part of the trade. I'm going to be breaking down Lauri Markkanen and Chris Dunn as well. Lauri Markkanen, even though a lot of people are writing him off already because of the horrendous year that he's had, where he's regressed as a player, both offensively and defensively, because of him just being thrown into a system where he obviously doesn't fit. That's more of a coaching thing. Jim Boylen doesn't want to use Lauri Markkanen the way that he should be used. He doesn't want to capitalize upon certain strengths. He just want to make him a straight up spot up shooter, and that's not what Lauri Markkanen is. He's not going to be efficient. He's not going to have that much of an impact on the game if he's just being a spot up shooter. That's not what his potential is going to be fulfilled. That's not the player that he's made to be. He's not just a spot up shooter. So until Jim Boylen figures that out, or hopefully we get a new coach, but it's not looking like that with the new GM that we hired and stuff like that. He doesn't want to get rid of Jim Boylen. So Jim Boylen is going to be around for at least another season, unfortunately. As a Bulls fan, that really hurts to hear. It's tough to hear, but back to Lauri Markkanen. He needs to develop a post game, maybe some better interior defense, and just becoming more consistent on offense, even though that's very vague. But if he were to get a nice post game and stuff like that, become a great pick and popper, we got ourselves, a real threat. We got ourselves a real threat. And I feel like he could be a third option on a Eastern Conference team, a team that could get to the Eastern Conference. Obviously, I feel like he can't be. That's no knock on Lauri Markkanen. Much respect, love and respect, but he can't be a second or first option on a winning team. Not from what we have seen so far. You know what I'm saying? So that's the Lauri Markkanen spiel. Other than that, it's still upside that we can't forget. To see as we see this canned animation that I pump faked, and 2K was really thirsty for the block, so I just wanted to replay and show that they need to get rid of them canned animations, and it's not as much as previous years, but they need to get rid of it in 2K21, and hopefully they do. But back to Lauri Markkanen, him, there's still progression and positive. Okay, there's still potential to be made. You know what I'm saying? He has potential to grow. That's what I was trying to say. But on to Chris Dunn now. Chris Dunn has it's an odd case with Chris Dunn, because he is a great defender, but a lot of people don't appreciate defense nowadays. People don't look at that unless you're a Kawhi Leonard type of, Giannis type of defensive player of the year type of defender. People don't appreciate you as much. But he gets the dirty work done for the most part on the defense for the Bulls. Guarded some type of defenders. He's a great person that. Okay, what I'm trying to say is he's somebody that racks up a lot of steals. He shuts the opposing scorer at the guard position down for a couple plays. He's not no Patrick Beverly level defender, but he has the potential to grow into that type of role. Patrick Beverly, Marcus Smart, them tough time defenders. T.J. Warren, he has the potential to grow into that mold of a defender. Now, offensively, it's kind of harder to predict what he can be, because he doesn't really make the best decisions on offense, and that's something that's really troubling for the team, and stuff like that. So that's something that we need to focus on improving while keeping him as a solid defender. He just can't fall off on the defensive end, because that's what he's known for. But a lot of Chicago fans, a lot of analytics and people who are interested are in the Chicago Bulls think that we should move on. I don't really see it as the case. I think he's not essential, but he could develop into an X factor and a Marcus Smart mold of player on the Chicago Bulls. He can have that type of effect on the Bulls. We need to, as an organization and franchise, we need to reestablish that firm defensive culture that we've always been known for. If you think about the Chicago Bulls, you think about Derrick Rose, the Derrick Rose era. On the offensive end, it was Derrick Rose, Luol Deng, not really Joakim Noah, but that's Carlos Boozer wasn't really, saying that guy on the that we thought he would be on the offensive side of the ball. But if you think about that team, they were one of the toughest defensive teams in the whole damn league. We gave LeBron problems. We took him to like 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2011, Derrick Rose's MVP season. But we were just known for being that gritty defensive team. When Derrick Rose went down with an injury, Joakim Noah had to step up, and he had that year where he was 4th in the race for MVP. That's what we was known for. We was known for being that really tough defensive matchup that a lot of teams wouldn't really look forward to going against because they know what we brought on the defensive end. And we need to reestablish that. Even when Jimmy Butler was here, that's another time where we at least had a decent defensive culture surrounded around the franchise. And that's what another thing that we wasn't, the best at during the Jimmy Butler era, but we were still known for having solid defense. We was one of the best defensive teams. And during that time, we also beat some of the best teams in the league. We beat the Golden State Warriors, Cleveland Cavaliers, not in the playoffs, unfortunately, but we, during the regular season and a couple games for the regular season series and a couple of games for the playoffs, we would give them hell, to be honest. So that's something that we need to reestablish, and it could help our team go a long way, because we could shut down teams like the Bucks, we could shut down the Celtics, because the Celtics have an amazing defensive culture for a team, in the East. They have a great defensive coach. They have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. People don't really talk about Jason Tatum's defense, but it's amazing. Jaylen Brown is known for him being one of the best two-way players under 27 in the league, and that's absolutely great that Boston has. They also have Marcus Smart, Daniel Tice is somebody that they also have as well. And it's great. Robert Williams and stuff like that. He might not be known exactly for his defense, but it all ties in, to being a solid defensive team, stuff like that. It's a team that we playing right now in 2K, but that's what they're known for, and I feel like we need to reestablish that firm defensive culture in the Chicago Bulls locker room and stuff like that. And we're going to be that's how we make that jump as well to being a serious team that a lot of people look at in the Eastern Conference. Because now, with us being in a rebuilding stage and all that, they're not going to look at us as a threat. They don't look at us as a threat. On the power rankings, we're one of the lowest teams. And people don't even take our young core that serious, because of all the dysfunctions that we have. So that's something that if we were taken seriously as a defensive team by, proving night in and night out that we are one of the best defensive teams in the league, people are going to take it a lot more seriously, and it's going to have a positive effect on our record. We're going to shut teams down. They're not going to want to face us in the playoffs, and it's going to be good for the team overall, So there's that. And a couple ways we could do that, not only by, training our guards, working with different type of coaches and stuff like that. Another way we could do that, obviously, is bringing in defensive-minded veterans and trading for a player like Jonathan Isaac. Trying to look in to see if we could get like a T.J. Warren type of player, because that small forward position that we have right now is not going to be full. It's not going to be filled with just Denzel Valentine and Otto Porter Jr. because Otto Porter Jr. has so many injury concerns that it's tough to rely on him to be there for a full season. He's a decent defender, 3-and-D player for the Bulls, and we just can't rely on him, because of the constant injuries that he's had. So, just a couple ways of us reestablishing that is trying to go out for, because we don't have the cap space to go out for a big name defender free agent like Kawhi Leonard or Paul George, somebody that's coming off the books in 2021 or in this 2020 offseason, stuff like that. We don't have the cap space for that unless we trade somebody like, unless we move Otto Porter Jr., Cristiano Felicio, and stuff like that, and we look into our salary cap situation. We're not going to be able to do that. But for now, that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. Really, thanks for tuning in. Check the comments, Go down in the comments, comment what you think, how you think the Bulls should move and stuff like that. Your opinions on your video. And this is only the first part of my talk series about the Chicago Bulls and many other teams to come. So, just let me know how y'all feel in the comments and stuff like that. Let me know what's good. And I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.